Welcome back to the Hunt Experience. I'm Cody Gann.
And I'm Chris Brewer. This show was brought to you by Camo Family Outdoors and Whitetail Property Management.
Well, today, Chris, we got some big announcements.
New equipment on the property.
We got new equipment and
new gear
and dead equipment.
Oh yeah.
So let's start with the negative before
go
we
ahead.
attack the positive.
Go ahead and I remember getting that text, man. It's like, gosh, are you serious?
So at the end of our last podcast, we talked about the new pond project I'm doing and diving into.
Slash berm slash entry.
Yes. Many things. Yes. So I had my dad and brother's D6C dozer. It's an older dozer.
Yeah.
Had some issues with it, so we've kind of been fixing this and fixing that.
You're on the verge to discovering the problem.
Yeah. And so I got it out there and was starting to clear in some of the sections of wood I have left. I don't have a whole lot of woods left.
Yeah.
But, to make the pond even bigger.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I get a kind of like a knocking, tapping noise. And I thought, ooh,
We've been there before.
this is not good. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is not my first time. So I thought, man, I got to get this thing back to my house, and I made it just behind my building out there.
Yeah.
Made a loud screeching sound and died. And then when you try and turn the motor over, no go.
Yeah.
So all those grand plans I had with the dozer,
Yeah, that's a bad deal for everybody involved.
I know. Yeah. So it's like, of course, it's not mine. I was operating it.
Yeah.
So I've got to take care of what I need to take care of on my end, as far as with dad and brother. I haven't decided. We're not sure if we're going to try to fix it. It sounds really serious, like crankshaft serious.
Yeah. May have half of its worth and just getting it back going.
Well, and that's what me and dad talked about. It's like, golly, man, you that dozer is a 68 model. I don't know if you would even want to put that kind of money.
Exactly, yeah.
But,
I wouldn't personally, but I mean,
it's one of them things, man. It's like, golly. So at this point, if I decide to go forward with the pond, which is really what I want to do, I'm going to have to just rent. I guess I'm going to have to rent a machine at this point. So
it might be your safest bet. Get the the rental insurance and whatever you got to get on that.
Yeah, I want hazard insurance on it.
Fire hazard, water, or whatever.
Park it out there, a tree fall on it or something. Oh my gosh! So anyway, that kind of put skids on the old pond plan right now.
Yeah, that's rough because you're about to get to the point right here after fireworks season where you're probably going to start digging.
Oh yeah, and that was the whole plan. I was going to get everything prepped, man, and just roll out there and start pushing dirt. And it's like, oh my gosh. So I don't know yet what exactly I'm going to do, but I'm going to halt for a little while because I don't really have any other choice at this point.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker. I forgot what we were texting about that night, and you said, I think the dozer just locked up.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to be kidding.
I couldn't believe it, man. I mean, it was running fine. And it just,
Yeah, it sounded like a beast when I saw you running it. And I don't know, when was that? That was a while back when you first got it on the property, I guess. But
man, that motor had been worked on, and the head had been worked on. So I don't know what exactly went down, but little defeating. But
it's not good. There's not to mention it was going to be still can be, but you don't have to rent a machine if you had that. I mean,
I know.
Cool fishing pond, and then plus the access issues.
It was going to save me a ton of money, is what it was going to do.
Oh yeah.
But well, hey, we got better news to talk about, right?
Yeah, better news.
That was some.
That's the sad.
That's the downer side.
We'll say the good, the bad, and the ugly. We started with the bad. I'll be the ugly, and then I'll talk about the good.
So tell me what you just did.
Well, I made what we add up? I think it was close to 14 hours by the time I got back to the house. Went to Kingdomville, Missouri. So let's see. I went to, where did we go? Kingston, Missouri for turkey hunting.
Yeah.
Then I went to Kirksville, Missouri for turkey hunting, back-to-back weekends. Then I think I took a weekend off and went to Kingdomville, Missouri.
You got all the K's.
I just put that together, actually. So, that's, man, I looked and called and messaged, and these people had the best price. They would kind of finagle me out of the sales tax side of it, and so that's where I went. But even even on the drive up there, I was still trying to put together deals over the phone for a place closer to me.
Right.
It just didn't pan out. And these guys were super cool, man. 2 dudes up there. I said I probably could have made it home in like 12 hours, but they were deer hunters. So we got to talking about the podcast. He was showing me his computer with pictures on it. I was showing him my phone with pictures on it. We were talking about deer and planting and crimping, and next thing you know, it's like, dude, I gotta go.
I'm gonna get home tonight.
Yeah,
I gotta go.
I gotta go. I still didn't have the thing chained down yet. So, yeah, Kingdomville, Missouri on Monday. I guess I left probably about 6, got home about 8.
So what exactly did you get?
We ended up with, after, gosh, I don't know, I've been looking at these things for like 2 months. There was three major brands out there that I was looking at, and it was a Tar River, a Great Plains, and the Genesis. And I ended up with the Genesis because it's compact.
Right.
Some will pull behind. So yeah, made a deal on this thing, went up there and got it. It's a no-till drill, which you know how we normally do. I normally till, then I spray,
Yep.
then I till again, and then I'll fertilize, and I'll till again. So, you know, it's a lot of tilling, and it's rough.
Yeah.
My place more so than yours.
Yep.
But yeah, we've been thinking about this for a while, kind of dreaming about it actually.
Well, it was funny because me and you were maybe on our turkey trip. I don't remember. And I was like, you know what we need, man? Like one of these days, you know what we need?
Yeah.
And I said, man, wouldn't it be cool to have a no-till drill?
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, you ain't gonna believe this.
Yeah.
I just was thinking about that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were talking about it on that trip, and it's like,
Yeah.
we talked about it a little more, and the next thing I know, Chris is like, dude, I'm getting one.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Well, and then so the other thing, when I made my second trip back up there, the guy that he has a shop, and he had like the little storage building that Luke and I stayed in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, out back is all of his implements. And I told you in the previous podcast, or the one about turkey hunting, that's what he does. He does land management for all these people.
Right.
They own land in northern Missouri, but they live in Texas or Wisconsin or whatever. So he maintains these things. Well, he had a Genesis, some type of John Deere, and like a Great Plains deal there. So he's like, man, the John Deere's pretty legit, but it's a big tow behind. You know, you fill up each individual hopper with it. He's like, but the Genesis, it's like you can throw all your seeds. So I was a message to him about it. I said, hey man, give me your honest opinion about this thing. He's like, dude, it's pretty legit. He's like, now don't go into it your first season thinking you're going to save a whole lot of time, because you got to get used to it, how to set it up, how to calibrate it, making sure your depths are right. When you go to the next food plot, you may be planting too deep. You have to change it again. But once you cycle through that and you have it in your mind, like, all right, set it on 1 inch here or 2 inches here. And, you know, he's like, he recommended, a hydraulic top link. You can make minute adjustments on it pretty easily with a hydraulic top link versus cranking. But, so anyway, I was on my way up there, and he called me out of the blue. Hey man, what are you doing? You ain't gonna believe this. I'm almost back to you again. Really? He's like, yes, I'm going to get one, man. He's like, good for you. So we talked for probably 45 minutes on the drive up there. Super cool dude, but he was telling me all kinds of pointers on how to use them, and but he's primarily a clover guy on all these plots he does, and then of course
it's turned all the way down, right? Yeah.
And he uses his bigger one, obviously, for on his own personal farms, rotating out beans and corn. So he uses that big John Deere one for that, which, I mean, that thing he had up there was 20 feet wide or something like that. Yeah. But, the Genesis is kind of what I settled on because, my place, I got those little kill plots, too. So it's like it's a 3-point. It's not a tow behind. Right. Pick it up, get in those tight spots, boom, back up, make it row. So that's what we settled on after, lots and lots and lots of video watching, reading. Yeah. Talking to that farmer was pretty cool. He had some pretty good information. Somebody that actually owns one, That's the best information, man, right there, for sure. So a lot of the people that I was talking to, they have what they call coulters on the front of them. So it's basically a tiller or a disc on front of them.
Right.
And, but they want, quite a bit more money for that
Sure.
version. And it weighs quite a bit more. And he's like, dude, you don't need those. Like, they're a waste of time. This thing weighs so much. It's going to go into the ground, make the slice, drop your seed and cover it up. It's like, don't waste your money on them. So that was a good pointer because it was something I was tossing around. There was a guy that had one like 4 hours this side of me that had the coulters on it, but it was more money. Like, man, do I save 4 hours? Because I may need those. And he called me and he was like, no, you don't need those things.
You don't need them.
According to him. I mean, like I said, he's like, now I don't know your ground, but he's like, it's got to be pretty hard packed in clay before you would need to, tear it up. Before
You don't have any issues here.
Yeah, I'm kind of sandy.
Yeah, no, you won't.
So, yeah, so that's what we ended up with. I mean, this thing, we got the smaller version because my tractor is only a 40 horse, so the 5 would have been cool, but I forgot it weighs 2,500 pounds or
heavy.
something.
Yeah.
I think this one's 15, 16 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it'll do, it'll still do 5 rows at a time.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. No, I think so. 5 rows. And the spacing's like 7.5 inches apart. So which we kind of talked about that. I was like, man, we may
double up.
We may not overlap as much, or we may go one direction and come back and cross it up, or, do something a little different to
get that thickness.
I don't know. I just don't know enough about it because I've never done it this way before. 7.5 inches with our mixture may be great. But.
All right. So for those that don't know, and of course I had to educate myself because I didn't, a no-till drill means that you do not have to disc the ground, right?
No disking, no tilling, no nothing. So, yeah, I mean.
You can roll up to a field, essentially.
Yeah.
And sow seed in directly into the field, right?
Right.
That's the idea behind it.
Yeah. So a drill, they call it a drill because I've always, watched the videos of like, all the switchgrass videos I watch, like, man, we had our switchgrass drilled in. It does so much better than trying to sow it in. It's drilled in, drilled out. Like, what are they talking about? It's basically 2 discs that are touching at the bottom and have like an inch gap at the top. And so it slices the ground open, drops the seed in there, and then the big wheels behind it come and cover that up.
Close it.
Yeah. So
nice.
Then this one, it goes 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then 2 inch are the depth settings on it. And then I played with it some last night. I sent you the video. You can actually adjust your top link and push the front of the machine down, and you can even go more than 2 inches. I don't know anything that would be more than 2 inches, but there is some adjustment just with the top link there that can do it. And it's this thing will hold. So when you read the description of it, it'll hold 4.9 bushels. I didn't know what that was. So of course, as I'm kind of researching the situation, I'd look around. Well, a bushel is depending on what the seed is, but like I looked up winter wheat, and winter wheat is 60 pounds per bushel. So you could throw roughly 300 pounds in the hopper.
Oh, wow.
And get after it. And then, but it already weighs,
it's
like I said, it already weighs quite a bit. So even that would probably help. So yeah, you can throw like 6 bags in there and just get the plant, man. And like,
you set your ratio per acre, right?
Yeah.
That's in your adjustments on the side of the rig, right?
Yeah. So yeah, we talked about that earlier. The calibration side of it, you've got on your right-hand side, you set the gate for your biggest seed. So if you're throwing a big mixture, which I think that's what we'll do, we'll probably throw everything in.
Yeah, why not?
And it's got these little deals in there that kind of keep it all stirred up as you're driving. So we have no chance of just planting one seed.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
It's got little paddles in there that stir it up, not to mention, the way the hopper's built, it kind of tapers down. So everything's going to be shook up anyway.
Right.
So on the right-hand side of it, you've got a setting for your seed that you set it towards the biggest seed. And in the manual, it tells you if you're planting this, set it at 2, set it at 3 or whatever.
Right.
And I was watching a lot of guys, if you're planting corn or beans or whatever, they were talking about, well, each year it's kind of like acorn crops, right? In a good year, your acorns will be really, really big and a bad year they'll be small. Same thing with bean seeds. So you can't go by the book exactly because if you set it too small, it'll actually crack that seed and you're planting the whole field. Yeah. And so you always got to do that test, which.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is the gear. So it tells you, it basically sets your pounds per acre by that way.
Okay.
So,
and that's a revolution of a wheel, right?
Yeah, that's your drive wheel.
Yeah.
And there's a gear inside there, so you loosen all these little set screws and just crank it. Super easy. I mean, compared to the other ones I saw, this thing sets up easy.
Yeah, I bet.
And
so your germination too, right, is supposed to be off the charts because you don't
pretty much 100%.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about washing because you didn't till it up.
Exactly.
So you don't have to worry about flooding out.
Yeah.
It kind of covers a lot of the issues that you have in doing what we do.
Exactly. Well, it's like I didn't know I had like a washout problem until you flew the drone on my food plot. It's like, oh wow, I got like a pretty good sized little creek that runs through there and didn't even, from the ground level you can't really see it.
Yeah, you're not aware.
And this from tilling and raking and tilling and raking.
Sure,
and,
sure.
It does have that downhill slope, but this, I mean, that
alleviates that issue. You figure out what your seed depth is. You set the machine. You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. And then, like you said, you're going to be able to put enough seed in your hopper that you'll be able to do all of your
I think so,
things in one fell swoop.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty awesome, man. Golly. So, and if I'm not mistaken, you set that dial for the biggest seed.
Yeah.
But then you can mix your seeds all together.
Yeah, you can put anything you want to as long as it's
smaller.
As long as it's big enough,
That's crazy.
I would, which you wouldn't probably ever do this, but I would assume if you had like a clover seed or something, you'd probably want to just stick with the clover seed because that's super, super tiny.
Sure.
If you're doing something larger with that,
Yeah.
We've been talking about your plot screen. Like, dude, what if we had this drill and
no
that
doubt.
plot screen? You just had row after row after row of it. Like,
well, see, part of the issue with the plot screen is that
the depth.
Yeah. The seed gets pushed down too far.
Yeah.
It's tilled up, so when it rains, it washes
it down farther, washes away.
Yeah. So this is going to alleviate.
Yeah, I think it might be. I'm kind of anxious. I wish we had it before. Like I said out there earlier, we walked around your place. Like, man, I wish I would have had.
Yeah.
I wish we'd have had this drill before we did even the switchgrass.
I know.
What difference? How better? Of course. I mean, mine's going gangbusters right now that I frost seeded last year. I couldn't. Imagine,
I know.
Couldn't imagine it being too much better than
sure. Well, what we're going to need to do just on that aspect, I kind of talked to you about it. I think we need to, because I'm an old school tiller guy, been planting like that for years and years.
Yeah.
So I would like to do like one plot one way and one the other just to compete them.
Yeah.
But the overall goal, that's just part of the good of this machine.
Yeah.
It's a soil building system.
And that's kind of what I was going into. We've been tilling and hand seeding our plots forever, and it always turns out fine.
Sure.
But my thinking was like, how much seed is on top of the ground or too low below the ground?
Sure.
And how much are we flinging in the woods and like all
how much wasted seed is
or
there?
How much seed you put out per acre? I don't know. I put I had a 50-pound bag. I put it all in this area.
Right.
I don't know if I'm doing it the right ratio, the wrong ratio. We've always been kind of overseeders when it comes to everything. So I think this will be, it'll be dialed in.
Precise.
Not to, like I said, the dialing in part of it. Yeah, it's no other drill I looked at has this thing. So this one was kind of developed by like hunters. It's not really a farm deal. You can, but it's not really. They got like Genesis 10s, which are 10 foot wide.
Right.
But so you take this tray out, flip it over, crank the wheel until your meter says 0.2 of an acre, or basically everybody says 26 revolutions.
Yeah.
You take that seed out, throw it in a bucket, measure it, and on the Genesis 3, it's like you take the weight of that and you multiply it by like 0.36, and that gives you your
seed rate per acre.
Your seed rate per acre. So then you can go and adjust your gear according to that if you want more.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, so it's it's going to be very, very precise. Like you're going to know, like, hey, I'm putting down, if we want 100 pounds per acre of peas, we know exactly what we need to do to get there, instead of like, let's get out there and start cranking it.
Let's just throw a bunch of seed out. Yeah, no doubt.
So that's exciting. Not to mention, the germination rate
shoots through the roof.
Oh yeah, it has to, because
you're literally opening the ground, putting the seed at the right depth, and closing it all in one swoop.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty awesome. It's really awesome, actually, because as a food plot guy that's been a food plot guy forever, you've always got them issues of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
You're either you can wash, you can get too much rain, you can flood out. That alleviates all of that.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things to build the soil is you can actually plant into something, right? And then
exactly.
You just kill the existing crop or crimp it.
Yeah.
Right?
Crimping's the deal. We were talking about that earlier, but I've been watching this no-till stuff forever. I'm like, garbage. I got to till it on back. I'm going to till it up, because I just like being on the tractor and like smelling the dirt. You know what I mean? But,
that's me.
Once you finally get past that side of it, and you're talking about, they're talking about by anywhere from year 2 to year 5, you can actually get rid of fertilizing your plots because there's so much mulch and thatch down there. So like for us this year, I told you, I was like, my rye's 5.5 feet tall. It's but I kept on brush hogging it down, thinking, well, that's going to go in there and kind of die and give me some thatch there to hold the moisture. But in hindsight, you just let that stuff grow up,
right?
Seed into it, and then crimp it, and you'll start to fertilize. It's kind of like, I feel like you probably have to kind of wean your property off the synthetic stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you can't just quit fertilize it after 1 year.
Yeah.
But huge benefit there because the soil building concept of it. They're saying within that 2 to 5 year range, every situation is different, but like you could get up to like 1.5 inches of, great mulch topsoil on the top of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy to think about because,
it really is.
The way we're doing it, it's like, we're destroying that top layer. And like I said, I've heard that forever. And like, whatever. Farmers disc up their stuff every year.
Right.
And they plant stuff in it and they move on and there's zero problems with it. But they're also probably using a ton of, either they have Missouri soil or they're fertilizing.
The soil's already black.
Yeah, exactly. You look at, in the Delta area or in the Missouri area, they probably don't have to fertilize because the soil's so good already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so the benefits to it is, the more you read about it, it's pretty awesome. And, it's like I said, for me, it was like spray, till, I don't even know how many times, but I would probably till my place.
Oh, we tilled it a bunch. Both of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you get rid of that aspect of it, you're talking about fuel, time, not to mention that whole, the layer we're talking about building up right now is going to be great because even before it's like, we're, like I said, tilling, spraying, dragging, seeding, tilling, fertilizing, tilling, coal packing, dragging again, like, tons and tons of steps where this thing alleviates every bit of that stuff off of there. So not to mention it's like, I don't know, what did we say last year whenever we did this my place? We walked, I think we were almost identical, 6-something miles with our bag spreaders.
Yeah. It was something like that. It's a workout to say the least.
Yeah.
So you've pretty much pulled the trigger on something that's going to improve your time.
Yeah.
Improve your germination rate. And once you get it set up and you learn it, then it's just going to be like fill it.
Yeah.
And go do it.
Well, so we just take, we could probably write it on the lid, your top plot, your bottom plot, my plot, write it on the lid. Here's the depth, especially if, like we talked about last time, we'll probably try different seeds.
Sure.
I may do a little tillage rice this year in my mixture a little bit and see what happens. And, we got to play around with it at this point and see. I like to do like a little area that's maybe my bottom plot, may just keep it straight 7.5 inch offset and to see if it all grows in thick. And then my big plot, like I said, we may go in there and either offset it or cross thatch it somehow. And
and
make
try
it
to super thick,
make it a little bit thicker. But if we do the rye again, I was reading about the ryegrass. You crimp that over and let it set. That stuff, like, for one, it don't let the sun hit the ground, so it keeps everything cooler and more moist.
Holds the moisture, yeah.
So if you plant into that, common sense says you need less water.
Yeah, germination's better.
Right. And the soil temperature will stay cooler, even so we could probably plant earlier. And if the spigot cuts off after we do plant, now we've got that whole thatch layer holding the moisture in, keeping the temperatures down.
Right.
I think it'll be pretty beneficial, that that whole side of it with the water we battled last year, I mean, this could possibly help that out some.
Yeah.
This year's not going to help me any because I've already brush hogged all mine down. Like I didn't know we were going this route until we were going this route. But
yeah, for sure.
But that big thick mulch layer, it's like something else I read about was like, you get all these the wildlife that's living there, the bugs that live in there, and like a lot of the bugs are predators like spiders and all that stuff. And it's like they'll actually kill off, all the bugs that will eat your peas and get on your fruit trees if you leave that stuff standing. It's like the predator bugs will actually eat away all the bad bugs.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
circle of life, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
So we went out to my fruit trees the other day. You made that Camel Family Outdoors video about both our properties, and I was like, holy man, we got apples on this thing, and there were some bugs on them. So I went and bought some $25 a quart fruit tree spray. You know what I mean? Which not saying I don't have to do that, but I mean, maybe not.
May have some predators.
You never know. You never know. Yeah, yeah. So
all in all, for you then, and we like it's funny because we had talked about it, but all in all, it's like all of the gains that you're getting from it is why you pulled the trigger on it. It's why you went ahead and just
And I wasn't that guy because, like I said, it was kind of a thing for me. Like, all these, we listen to a lot of podcasts and YouTube channels and no-till, saves erosion, saves this, builds your soil up better. Right. For me, I'm like, man, I don't get it. Like, to me, it's like the more you till it up, it gets finer, it gets better every year. And that's really just not really the case because you're constantly just taking that top layer of good soil that you want to be planting into
and tilling it under.
Yeah. So that's something that was kind of a hard pill for me to swallow. And I finally it started kind of eating away at me a little bit. So I started doing more research. And it's like, okay, I get it now. So then I started, how I do. I started obsessing about it. So then I can do nothing else but watch videos and read about them and, all that stuff, the benefits of the non-benefits of it and everything else. And it's like, man, let's do it. Let's get one. So I'm really excited to see, especially year 2, when we do have that, we can start building that thatch layer. Like I told you today, it's like, man, I think I'll go ahead and till mine this year, maybe early because, my big flute plot, that you lost your first dozer on.
Don't remind me.
That guy, he'd made like a brick road in there.
Oh yeah.
There's like bags of concrete, rebar. It was like a construction site. And we did a ton of work in there and got it pretty nice. Even a couple weeks ago, I've taken my grapple and like digging up tons of bricks and I ended up scooping them up, box blading it all down. So I think I might till it up one more time and try to get my rock rake and just get it clean one good time before we do this process. But next year, I think I'm going to let either if my switchgrass comes in tall enough in my middle where I'm segregating my plot, if it comes in high enough, I may try to do a buckwheat deal. If not, if we let that rye grow, I think it'll be good enough because it was thick. The areas the little kill plots that I didn't brush hog, I sent you those pictures of deer bedding it. Like it was neck high on me and it was pretty thick. So I bet that would probably be a good enough thatch layer to plant into.
Yeah,
and then,
I bet it would be.
So you go in there and plant into that and just crimp it down or roll it down. So I'm going to try to use that little coal packer deal as my crimper, I think, year 1 to see what it does. But if not, I can just roll it over and spray it. However we got to work it out.
Come in there with herbicide afterwards if you decide you want to do it that way.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is spraying on that big plot is just the fruit trees. So I don't want to get anything.
Sure.
Another good thing to bring up too, talking about spraying and kind of worried about getting my fruit trees is you don't have to spray. They're saying if you're crimping over a cover crop like rye, a lot of people use rye and a lot of people use buckwheat, but I've seen rye used a bunch. 95 to 100% weed reduction. Like you have no weeds if you crimp this stuff over because the sun's not reaching the ground, but your seeds will be able to push up through it. So that means, by year 3, year 4, year 5, no fertilizer. You don't have to spray. You just got to bend over your crop from last year, just crimp it over and you're done.
It's super clean.
Yeah. So no spraying. And then we talked about, the benefits of the topsoil layer is earthworms.
Right.
Yeah. So I did a whole
Worm farm?
research deal on earthworms after the fact. One of the videos I watched, a guy was talking about. I was like, let's see what these things do. Well, they actually put off, as they feed, they excrete like really rich.
Topsoil.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Minerals and everything else that's inside of it. So every year we go in there and till up. One, we're killing some of them. Two, we're getting rid of that layer they like to eat. Three, all their little tunnels and all that stuff, we're destroying all that stuff too. And then we're bringing them to the top and birds can eat them. So there's a lot of predation there. And
sure.
So there's a lot of benefits to that. And, which I'm pretty excited about because I remember like when I was a kid, right? It's like I always had a bicycle and a fishing pole and I'd go down these creeks. Well, it seemed like everywhere you turned over a log and it was like rotten, just nasty, dirty, thick, beautiful topsoil. That's where all the worms were.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, so if you can recreate that like nature does on our food plots, how much better our food plot's going to be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So that's a pretty exciting part of it too. I mean, and they also aerate the soil. So the washing and stuff. So, like we do stuff like at my work and I do it around my swimming pool. I aerate my lawn, which basically,
puts little holes
all in it, makes it fluffier so it absorbs more water, more nutrients. The worms do that for you. So they say you get like a bunch of worms in there. Now instead of the water hitting the soil and running off, it all stays there.
Absorbs into the soil.
Exactly. So
it's another
pretty huge, benefit that God's put on the earth for us. That like these dudes, if you can get them living on your food plots, it's going to be pretty good.
So you're pretty much just taking it back to nature.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's kind of what the plan sounds like.
Yeah. No, so I was thinking about that earlier today. It was like, think about like, way back when the buffaloes grazing and, all the Great Plains and, Yellowstone and these national parks, nobody's fertilizing those things. Everything dies, goes back in the soil, fertilizes, and it goes back the next season. Boom, boom, boom. So we're recreating that with all, without all the synthetic stuff.
Right.
And then for me, it's like, if we're growing more food, better food without chemicals in it, and the food is better fertilized and has more nutrients in it, it should be growing bigger antlers, right?
Well, I would think.
That's the ultimate goal here.
Not to mention the ease of it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I mean, like one season on it, dude, you're gonna be good.
Yeah,
and it's like, hey, man, I'm gonna, how we were before. It'd be like, dude, I got to do this property, I got to do that property, and this one all before the rain gets here.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like we got like a day and a half.
Yeah,
like where are you at on yours? Can you help me? Can I?
Yeah,
you'd be like, hey, dude. I'm going to plant all my plots.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. Did you need some help with something?
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be, like I said, I like being on a tractor. So it's not, it can be a time thing if you have something going on,
sure.
Especially if a rain's coming or
trying to beat the rain for sure. Yeah.
But, with this deal, I feel like you would be even good planting a couple of days after a rain. The moisture's in the soil.
Oh yeah, so
you're crimping this stuff over. The moisture is going to stay there, so I don't think you have to necessarily do it before rain. Now I think you can probably
you're not limited to that.
A couple days after,
yeah,
you go in there and you crimp all your stuff over on top of this after you seed it. The sun's not hitting it, which means the soil's staying wetter. It's like it's being in the shade, so it takes longer for it to dry out.
Sure.
Temperatures are lower, the moisture is going to hold in there. So I think it opens up a little bit of time for us there.
Yep.
Not time that we're saving. That's a no-brainer, but also time-wise, like we're not rushed to get it in.
Yeah.
Hey, it looks like 40% chance on Tuesday. You want to get together and try and knock out all these food plots. Like, I think we may be good on that,
Well, that alleviates all that because you don't have the worry of the washing. You don't have the worry of crows. You don't have, because it's in the ground. It's planted.
No, it's
drilled.
literally planted in the ground.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a garden to a food plot degree, if you will, because that, dude, that's I like to use the word all the time. That's a game changer.
Yeah. Well, that's what I text you whenever I sent you the picture of it. I was like, dude, I think this is going to be a game changer.
It is, man. Yeah.
All the green fertilizer are going to be leaving on the food plots. That's pretty huge. Not to mention less fuel, less time, less dust. That was the only part I hated about it. It's like if you're tilling before rain comes in,
You're eating
you know
dust.
what you're dealing. You know what you're dealing with because it hasn't rained in a while, especially the last 2 planting seasons.
You might as well be stopped up for 2 days. You know, afterwards.
It's bad. Yeah, it's
bad.
bad. Yeah. So I think the quality of the crop we're going to be putting out should be a lot better. I mean, that's going
to be fun.
I think we can do more tonnage per acre doing it this way because, I mean, like I said, your seed to soil contact and your depth is what it's all about, right?
Right.
And we guess on that every single year. Like,
right.
Well, let's till it. Let's throw some seed in. Let's see how it does. Let's drag it. Yeah. And hopefully the seeds at the top are not too deep or, you know, so what germination rate were we getting? I don't know. I mean, we always had success with it, but
sure.
Can we buy less seed now than what we were buying before? Because last year I went way over on my.
You know, you're going to be more accurate.
Oh, for sure.
You absolutely know that. Yeah. So I mean, it's like you're controlling that aspect of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, instead of forget how many peas you bought, dude. You bought like
because they
300 pounds of peas.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so it was 300 pounds because it was like I figured I got 3 acres of food plot. And I'm going to put 100 pounds in per acre. So. Sure. And I still may put 100 pounds in per acre, but I will know.
You'll know exactly
what I did.
That's pretty sweet,
man.
Yeah,
because the acreage meter on there will say, hey, this is how many acres you put in, and I know how many. You do the math on it, so it's like I said, the 3 things you worry about with planting a food plot. Depth,
right?
Rain, how many pounds per acre.
Yep.
This does it all for you except for the rain. But if you're crimping over that stuff, you
it's
got a lot
moisture.
Better chance than having just open soil with the sun beating down on it,
right?
Or the rain hitting it and burying your seed or washing your seed.
Yeah,
it gets rid of all that stuff. So.
And year 2, year 3, you're starting to build that layer
exactly, yeah,
of where you may not even have to fertilize.
Yeah, that's and you know what fertilizer costs. So
it's super expensive,
pretty huge.
Yeah.
So I wish we would have had this before you put in your plot screen. I wish.
I know.
I'd have had it for the switchgrass. I mean.
Well, we're going to have to try that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
I'm sitting here thinking, where can we put switchgrass with this thing? Because I want to see. I bet the germination's awesome.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The exact depth, and it's covered up with dirt, and we're not just like exciting. Before we were walking around with our bags, and like I said, we always had.
Yeah. No, we did good.
We did good crops with it, but it's like this thing. It takes the guesswork out of it.
Right.
There's no coal packing, there's no dragging, there's no tilling, and eventually there's no fertilizing.
Right.
I mean, I say that. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably still fertilize. It's because I want to try to get it as lush and as green as I can.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, for sure.
You may not I mean, you don't know. I mean, I'm new to this whole deal, right? So we may not. I mean, may go out there and see all that thatch laying on the ground and rake it back and have 2 inches of black dirt. And it's like, hey, we're recreating, Missouri here for the first 2 inches. And that's all you need.
Oh, yeah.
That's all you need is that first inch, really. I mean,
yeah.
I bet we can get that pretty quick if we're laying over thatch and mulch on top of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, this is like a pro thing you've done here. Does this make you a pro? Because it's kind of you kind of went to a whole nother level here, brother.
Yeah. I'm not a pro yet, but I bet by year 3 I probably will.
You'll have it figured out for sure.
We'll have my place and your place documented. And then also don't forget, if you want some food plots planted, Whitetail Property Management.
You can make that happen now.
We got a no-till drill. We don't have to till your place up. We can come in and plant them and be in and out. So
there you go.
That is something we will do.
Heck yeah. You offered a whole nother service there, brother.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's exciting, man. I told her, she's like, well, do you have to have it right now? I'm like, no, I don't actually need it till like September, but it's on my brain and I have to check the box.
I gotta do it.
I gotta check the box, man. This is the way I'm built. Like I gotta get off my face. Like I can't just not, I can't not do it.
Oh, so. I know, because I was like, you know what? Hey, man, we ought to think about that. Yeah. And the next thing I know, I get a text. I'm getting one.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
I'm going.
I read all the pros of it, and it's like I just got to pull the trigger on it.
I was going to go with you, man, to go get it.
I know. I was wanting to kind of.
It's my anniversary.
So I almost put it off a week because of that. Because so that was a wheeling and dealing with all these guys. I mean, I think I had 8 different people on the hook that had them.
Did you?
And I was like, you know how I work. I'm trying to get the cheapest one. Hey, if you'll come down to here, I'll do this. If you'll meet me on this price, I'll do this. If you won't charge me sales tax, I'll now. So I was like, well, even when I woke up that morning, I had my alarm set for 4. Like I'm rolling out. And then like, man, I woke up. It's like, man, maybe I should just wait and see, I got like 4 other dudes that are going to be texting me back and or calling me and saying, so maybe I'll just wait. And then I'm laying in bed at 4 o'clock, like, all right, I'm going. So get up, start making coffee and getting everything loaded, get my chains and my booms and all that stuff. And then, I have to do it. And then I made the mistake. My wife, so I hadn't heard from you all day. Where are you at? And I'm like, Carthage. Like, oh, you decided to go? I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. Yeah. So another benefit I just thought about too was like weed seeds. They say weed seeds can stay in your soil for up to 10 years dormant without sprouting. So every time you till, you bring all those weed seeds back up to the top.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that gets rid of that aspect of it too. That's why they say probably 95 to 100%, weed reduction.
Oh, wow.
That's probably another reason why too. I just remember that. Yeah.
So once you cover crop it, and you're done.
You never disturb it. Yeah. You don't bring those seeds back up to the top. So, if we use rye, and we'll probably experiment with that as the years go by.
Sure.
We'll do some buckwheat. We'll do a lot of guys are even doing soybeans. Doing soybeans in the summertime and then just planting your winter crops right into it. It's like,
maybe something we could try there.
That's pretty enticing.
Yeah.
I just watched that video today. I'm like, man, I'm going to do that. I think because you know how soybeans are. They say big attractant. Well, guess who's doing soybeans around here? Nobody. Yeah. So
for sure.
Plant some soybeans and then just start putting our winter plots right into those soybeans. So that's on the table for sure.
Man.
Yeah.
You gave us all kinds of options here, brother. All kinds of options.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fun. I mean, like I said, I think for you and me, it's going to be pretty easy because once we get it set for my soil and for your soil, we can probably just write it on the lid. Like, this plot, that plot, this plot, it was set for, our mixture. I mean, for the most part, I think our food plot series is kind of set. We may add some stuff to it.
Sure.
But around here, we've kind of proven what works.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So I think we can dial that in fairly quickly.
Well, we've got a formula that's worked pretty well. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I think you just improved on that formula.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
As far as for sure, like the germination thing is huge because that's always an if.
Yeah.
You just never know about the germination,
Yeah.
And dude, you're kind of taking that out of it.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And then it's like, now you know how much seed, like once you plant it, whatever plot, you're going to know exactly how much it takes to plant that plot.
Yeah, for sure.
So you can be like super accurate.
We've done, the Onyx loops around our plots. We know, how many acres each plot is.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think we can get that, the first planning session, maybe like, all right, let's get this figured
learn
out.
it.
Yeah. Let me drive 20 yards and see what depth it is, dig it up and redo it. But, we'll shoot all that too, how to set it up, how to do it. And we'll do before. This is going to be exciting for the Camo Family Outdoors platform too, because we'll have a lot of what ifs.
So you just gave me like a thought here.
Yeah,
I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah, brainstorm.
So we plant the whole thing and whatever we're planting, our mixes, which were peas, rye, and winter wheat's what we like.
Yeah. That's what works here.
And then right through the middle, we just do some brassicas in the middle just to see what happens. Yeah. You try one, I'll try one.
I want brassicas to work here so bad.
I know.
They're so pretty and they look so great.
I know.
And they add so much tonnage to your acreage, but deer just won't touch them.
They won't eat them, man. I don't know.
It's weird. That's what I was telling that farmer up there. He's a big clover guy. I said, man, it's like all the deer we kill around here are late season and they hit that clover. That's like what's left. I'm like, dude, if I was up here, I'd have brassica fields knee deep and turnips and everything else. Like,
well, that's where they work.
In my mind, that's
where they work. That's what I've heard.
That's what I would be doing. But
yeah, no doubt.
But as far as like the depth and everything goes, I mean, there's guys that's way smarter than me that's figured out that this seed needs to be planted at this depth,
right?
And this seed needs to be planted at this depth, and we've never known that, right?
Yeah.
We run that Dragomine over top of it and we pack it in and hopefully it's good.
Yeah.
And we had good results, but what are the results going to be now?
Exactly. Well, the cool thing is if you flip over a bag of seed, it's going to give you a plant depth.
Exactly.
A pounds per acre that's recommended for it. And now you can just hit those parameters.
Yeah. We do exactly what the instructions tell us to do now.
That's pretty cool.
Instead of saying, well, I planted 200 pounds of peas in 2 acres somewhere. I don't know. It's around here somewhere.
Yeah, we flung them out there.
Yeah.
They're out there somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm super excited about it. I kind of want to plant something right now.
Yeah, I was like, what can we actually do?
I was out of my food plot last night, like driving around. I'm like, I don't have a seed in it. I'm just dragging it around,
right? Yeah,
checking it out. So super cool. I mean, it's one of those things. Like, I don't know. I think we're gonna have a lot better crops doing what we're doing before, and the plots are going to be a lot healthier year 3, year 4. I mean, just because we're not out there taking that. And, the more you read about it, it's like, oh, okay. Now I see what everybody's talking about, because to me, it was like, this is a fad. Don't till, cause erosion. You're wasting too much diesel and whatever. But once you really start doing the research in it, it's like, okay, I totally get that. It's basically like we were talking about before, taking it back to nature. I mean, you go into a big, beautiful spot in the woods that has, all these leaves have been compacted and rotting for like 4 years, and you rake some away, or cut the trees down and let the sun hit it. Look what happens. Like stuff grows like madness in there. So,
well, if you take, and it's the exciting part to me, if you take a plan that I've had for a lot of years, and you've got on board with me on how we do our food plots. Yeah. And you improve that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
Oh, my gosh. Because it's already good.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And if we improve that, dude, oh, my gosh. It ain't going to be fair.
No, I like to say. We've got a formula that works for sure.
No doubt. And so that's what I'm saying. I mean, now you're going to a whole nother level, where you can control a ton of aspects that we've never had control of.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, it's like I told you before. It's like, the thing plants up to 2 inches. And, I don't know. I haven't read everything. We never really got into that a whole lot because we don't really care about seed depths. We're just spreading it out there and covering it up with dirt. Hopefully it grows, right?
Sure.
But nothing's probably going to be over 2 inches deep. Right. And they say by year 3, year 4, you've got 1.5 inches or 2 inches of nice topsoil that's been green fertilized by all this stuff. It's like that's all you literally only need 2 inches of good soil. Oh, wow. And by year 3. We could have that by crimping stuff down. Like, that's going to be huge.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Massive.
So,
dude, I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. I mean, like I said, I may be hollering at you at some point this weekend, like, hey, let's plant some corn.
Well, we both have a sickness, and the sickness is we want to be able to do it the best we can do. That's exactly I don't care what we're doing.
No, you're right.
And that's a sickness. I call it a sickness. My wife will tell you it's a sickness.
Oh, I know. Mine's the same way. And my son possesses that quality too. And it's like, he was telling me something the other day. And it's like, well, you come by that pretty naturally. Like,
sorry, buddy. That's on me.
That's what you want to do. And if I get something in my brain, that, hey man, I'm thinking about, it don't matter if it's a bow or a gun or a, whatever it may be, I start thinking about it. It's like,
okay,
all right, I'm driving 14 hours.
I'm pulling the trigger.
Let's get this thing. Put it on the trailer, and need to get grab one of your CFO stickers and slap on there when you get a hunt experience sticker and slap on there.
Yeah, for sure.
And start rolling around and.
Oh, I'm working on that too, on the hunt experience. Yeah. We'll have decals.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, I was wanting one for my truck. I was like, man, I need to ask him about that. And once I got this deal, it's got the RTP on. I was like, we need to
I've got a lady.
Put the CFO and the hunt experience and sticker that dude up.
For sure,
I did that big ballast box, for my tractor, because we were over there with Rich trying to lift those logs, like stand on the brush hog, my tires are coming up. So I was like, I'm gonna buy a ballast box filled up with concrete, and I had a random sticker somewhere. It was like a American flag with some deer antlers on. I like plastered it on the back of it because it was there. America's my ballast box. But I can tell you this much: if I wouldn't have had that ballast box, I wouldn't have got that no-till drill off my trailer.
Oh, I bet.
No question.
She's a heavy?
Yeah, she was like, you could see my front tires are like, these things are going flat. Yeah, she weighed a bunch.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I remember asking you, I was like, now, hey, man, make sure your tractor can handle it, because I hear they're heavy.
Yeah, I think I got about 500 pounds to play with, and it
so
lifted,
you're good.
It lifted it. Now, you can tell it's back there for sure.
Oh, I bet.
But, it's.
I don't imagine the little Kubota can handle it. I don't.
Yeah,
think.
probably not. I don't know. Because I think I looked mine up, and my 3-point it's a 40 horse. I think it's right around that 2,000 pound mark. So
I got you.
I think I'm pretty good.
I'll just have to hire you to come do mine.
Yeah, no, I'll just throw it on the trailer. Let's go do it. I think that'd be cool, man.
But it's like one day though, dude.
Yeah.
Can you even imagine that?
Not really. No.
The chaos we've had in the last 2 or 3 years trying to get stuff planted.
Yeah. Well, I was just sitting there thinking about. I told you, I was like, well, I kind of missed the tilling. So I just like the smell of dirt and everything. And then I remember like tilling mine, and then come over here and tilling yours last year, and like, dude, my lungs may be like halfway filled. I'm not sure. Like, hell, it's so bad.
It was horrible.
Yeah, so
horrible.
Bad. Because we were in the middle of a major drought.
We had 3 months without a rain, man. It was horrible.
You were doing one deal, and I couldn't even like see 10 feet in front of me. Yeah. Like, I don't know where I'm going here, but so maybe I won't miss that as much.
No, I bet you won't.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, after a couple of years, you'll be like, what were we thinking?
Yeah. How much can I get out of this tiller?
Yeah, get rid of this thing and get rid of it. Well, dude, that's awesome, man. I can't believe you did it. I was just, when you told me that, I just cracked up and thought it was hilarious. And, I know you. I know how you think. So that's pretty awesome. But we're going to have a blast with it.
Yeah. It's a huge step, I think, for in the food plotting deal. And like I said, it's also something we're going to be offering. We have Whitetail Property Management. We're drawing up properties for people and doing those things. And we do also, within a certain distance, we'll come and plant your plots for you too. So
absolutely,
that's another service we'll be offering on the Whitetail Property Management side. So keep that in mind. Once we get it. I mean, the thing is going to be easy to figure out. I mean, it's not rock. I mean, it's the best one I've seen. Like I said, all the research I did, it's like once you turn that wheel 26 times, you need to go up or down or whatever. And it's like, it's pretty easy to do.
It's game on after that.
The manual tells you what seed, and it gets you pretty close before you even do the test. So
I'm excited to see something get planted.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Yeah.
Dang it, here we're coming into summer. It's like,
I know. What can I plant? Yeah. I wonder, when do you plant soybeans? I don't even know.
Oh, I don't know.
I look into that because I thought about that. I was like, man, that soybean deal looked pretty tempting to me, especially if you can plant into the soybeans. I'm not a big summer food guy, but right now I've got a pretty lush clover plot, so that's kind of out the gate. I've got summer food, so
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So man, I'm excited. We'll have lots and lots of Camel Family Outdoors video to shoot with this thing too. The setup, the calibration.
Be looking for that because we will document how to use this thing from start to finish.
Exactly.
And then we'll show us using it.
Yeah. And that's another thing, kind of like the Red Ozark Dogwood. There's not a lot of content out there. There's a couple dudes that are telling you how to do it. So that's enough. But I mean, we may be able to,
we could show how to plant it, how to set it up, how to plant it, and then the results of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's gonna be awesome.
And the thing I was kind of thinking about too was like the calibration side of it. It's like, man, when you do that, you're taking a little bitty number and extrapolating that over to 2 acres or 3 acres. So you need to get every seed, so these are the things I haven't heard anybody talk about yet, but in my mind, that can make a huge difference when you're talking about 26 cranks and that's your number for 3 acres or 5 acres or whatever. So look for that. We'll document that well, and we'll show about the machine, and we'll show about the food plots, and we'll sit behind some 170s and these big lush green food plots. We'll show that footage, so it's gonna be fun.
I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready. Let's go.
Like I said in the last podcast, I'm 50. I can't be wishing my life away, but man, I'm ready to plant something now.
Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what comes out of it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. Good. So it's a big step for us, in our
little venture,
in our obsession.
Yeah, and the thing is it's who we are, man.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's just not. You don't even have to try. It's just who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean. And it's so funny that you are you think just like I do. Yeah. Scary, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
I wouldn't say it's a good trait, but it's a trait.
It's a trait.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. Our wives says it's a trait. That's what they'll call it.
We're blessed in the wife department for sure.
Oh yeah, that was me. 24 years, man. So that was 24 years.
Congratulations on that. Yeah, that's awesome.
She's a good one, man.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that for sure.
Yeah. Mine the same way. It's like I said, I hadn't talked to her that whole morning. It's like, send me a text like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, I'm in Carthage.
By the way,
I'm
400 miles away.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, we're blessed in the wild department for sure. So, even perfect example is I saw y'all's what you did on your anniversary.
Oh, hey, I was like, hey, honey, what do you want to do? She's like, well, let's go out the night before and we'll go out and eat and everything. She said, on our anniversary, I want to go fishing.
Yeah, I mean,
you're the love of my life.
Yeah, right? I know why I've stayed here so long.
Yeah, exactly. I knew I liked you.
Yeah. That's good, great, man. In today's
crazy
temperament, that's a huge accomplishment for sure. So
absolutely.
Hats off to y'all for that.
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure. Well, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. That's been a Hunt Experience.
Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.